Hey everybody, Matt here, Hollywood's Garage. Today we're going to do some maintenance on the old 6.4 liter, as well as change a clock spring in the steering wheel. I have an airbag light on, no code shows up. You got to have a pretty fancy code reader to read airbag modules and stuff like that, but best guess is the clock spring. Modules to go bad would be pretty weird, right? I mean, it'd have to be quite the short or something like that to do that. So we'll do the clock spring. I ended up getting a Dorman one. It was cheaper through an Amazon, or Napa was like another 50, 60 bucks. Cheaper on Rock Auto, obviously, but I didn't want to wait for shipping on that up in Canada, even though they're like, within a week. So we're gonna do the oil change, even though the oil was changed literally like 200 kilometers ago, or more than that, like 1,000, I guess. The reason is the truck sat for 5 years after an oil change, according to the Carfax and the sticker on the windshield. And then the guy that I bought it from drove the truck up 500, 600 kilometers to deliver it to me when I bought it, and he didn't have it, the program to be deleted for the chip. So even though it had the exhaust taken off, like the DPF, it still had the EGR, and the tune on the truck was still factory. So it kind of tried to regen the whole way here. And honestly, like when I picked it up and drove it home, it just smelled like raw, unburnt fuel the whole time. So imagine like piston 7 and 8 were just getting dumped with fuel, because that's what they do, is they dump fuel in 7 and 8, so it hits that filter and the exhaust and burns it off. It's kind of the early generational exhaust they did on these trucks. So yeah, a lot of raw fuel. And imagine that I smelled the oil dipstick, and the oil dipstick smells like raw diesel. It's over full. Let's see if I can get you a look at it here. Yeah, like she's over full. Oh yeah, she smells diesely. So we'll change that out, because I don't want to, wear out the freaking engine more than it is, because you have thinned out oil from the diesel just mixing in and thinning it out. So while we do that, we're gonna unplug the batteries, because when you're messing with airbags, doing that clock spring in the steering wheel, it takes about 20 minutes for that thing to power down completely. So we'll unplug the batteries, do the oil change in the meantime. And when we're done that, we can do fuel filters, and then we'll do the clock spring. We'll see what the night gets us anyway. Well, that's finishing draining. Let's get to the top and change out the filter. Shut this off. Oil filter, fuel filter. Oil filter with the 6.4s. Try to use Motorcraft filters, even for all of it, to be honest. All filters, fuel and oil. But the lids is what matters. If you use a Napa filter, get the one with the Napa lid. I don't have the proper wrench right now for this, so we improvised. There we go. Should come with a new O-ring too for this cap in the box. Spring on there, and there you go. There's the filter. Oh, getting oil everywhere there. Let it drain out. If it was smart, a guy would have had a rag ready. So always compare your filters too. Just because you went to Ford and tried to get a Ford one, maybe they put the wrong one in the box, someone switched it out on you. Tops are different, so that's not a Ford filter. There's yellow writing on the top. Can't really make it out. It does have a code, CF551. I guess the guy spent more time cleaning it up. You might get a brand. Here's the Motorcraft one. It says it right on there. Let's focus. The bottoms are the same. Have the filter elements out the bottom. Made in USA. There's the filter bot on the bottom. Okay. So what you do is there'll be an O-ring in the box too. In the bottom of the box. Change that out. Grab a pick or a small flathead screwdriver. Grab the cap. There's the O-ring right there. Oh, sorry. There's the O-ring right there. Make sure it goes back in the right groove. So it's the groove that's below the thick one and above a thin one. Otherwise, put it in there, that's your thread, and you're gonna mess it all up. And just like all O-rings, lube them up. Either clean motor oil, some lubra plate, like what I have here. If you get a little on the thread, that's okay too. That'll just help us so it doesn't stick. Doesn't really seize in there, gall up the plastic too much. Clean up any excess, because you want the O-ring lubed or she'll tear when you go to tighten it. Filter. Cap, see it has a hole in the center there? Filter has those little tongs. Until it clicks. See, now it's in there. Now, you just want to push it in, push down to kind of help with that spring, and twist on. There we go. It tells you how tight to tighten it right on the cap. It's in Newton meters, so if you really want to, you just Google it, convert that into foot-pounds, or you just go by elbow clicks, which is what I'm going to do, because I don't have a bigger socket with me right now. So up in Canada for winter, we use 5W40 as it gets to minus like 30, 40 Celsius, which is like, I think minus 30 Fahrenheit, minus 30 Celsius are the same. Fahrenheit doesn't make sense to me. You guys need to figure that out. Celsius makes sense. Grab your cleanest funnel. That'll do. Slip it in the old that has the lid on it, the doodad, and you know, some of your blow by. This doesn't have any, none, I swear. Yeah, anyway, put it in there. 15 liters. Let's put 10 in, 12, and then we'll measure the old measure stick. Now listen, fellas. I'm a little caution on, you know, not making a mess, pouring the old oil back into the containers so I can dispose of it. The small one will be easy to dump. It's only like 3/4 full because, you know, I should be smart enough to dump the other one quicker. The other one's plumb full. So we'll start with the easy one first because I don't want to make a mess right away. Careful pouring. The weight of it to offset it, so just pour shit out of the way. Nice part about the super dark oil is that line on the back. You'll see it right away when she starts getting full. She's dark. Look at that. 5 liters just about. We're pretty much at 5 liters in there. So see how much overfull the truck was to begin with. This will be the fun one. If I burp wrong, it's gonna spill. Nice and easy now. Just a little power ski. Once you get weight in the bottom of it, it'll hold itself up. You guys let me know when that line starts getting to the top. Right now I can't see shit. What a guesstimate. I was smarter to turn the bottle so I can see the line. You guys can learn from my mistakes. Okay, let's do a little twisty one. A little excited here. Okay, guys, you guys aren't doing a good job. They're not letting me know where it's at. Oh no. Ooh. But we're not going to start the vehicle and look for oil leaks because we're just going to look underneath and hopefully I'll put the cap on. Oh yeah, that's just a smear. Those are just smears from when I dragged the container. No big drips. So that drain plug, that was hand tight, that I thought was maybe stripped because why hand tight? It was just loose. It wasn't stripped. Tightened it till it felt good. I mean, the last place to do an oil change on this, according to the sticker on the windshield, was Mr. Lube. So Never trust your fast oil change places. Imagine that, eh? I guess getting a new engine wouldn't be that bad, would it? Especially a 6.4. Anywho, so this is fuel. This is your secondary filter. We'll loosen this sucker. We'll change this one out first. Put a rag on the base, on the bottom, because when you go to take this off, it's already full of diesel. Since I just had it running like 20 minutes ago, might not be pressured enough yet. So just try to, you know, keep your mess from getting messier than what I've already made a mess of doing. Since I'm in a messy garage and I didn't clean it up before I started. Okay, let's get my fancy pliers for that. Let's see if this works on this. No, that's tight. I don't want to wreck it. I have a wrench for it, a socket. I just don't have it in the garage with me, so we can skip on that one. It's not worth wrecking. Just some too easy to get the proper tool. Oh man, someone gave it the beans on that one. Okay, we'll have to come back to that. I wasn't too worried about fuel anyway, more about the oil. So next on the agenda is going to be that clock spring. Steering wheel part for that one. And then we'll show you how that one goes. So here we go. Look at that ugly steering wheel cover. Yeah, she's a gem. Well, we'll show you after. I may have a little treat for the steering wheel after when we're done here. See how good it's gonna be to me. So first thing you gotta do, you can still see, remove the rubber boot. Good spot for it. Take that out with a Torx. A screw there. Take that off. Then there'll be screws underneath here. 3, I think. I think they're like a 5.5 mil. You're gonna separate this casing, casing in half to get to the, so you can get to the back side of the steering wheel back here to release the airbag and do all that doodad stuff. So yeah, it's a fun little thing to unclip and do. 3 screws in the bottom, and with half you just push the crack that was here. I showed you screwdriver and it pops it off. Same as the other side, and you just manhandle the 2 halves off. So next is there's 3 slots. Right here, 1, 2, and then 1 on the other side. You get a flathead screwdriver in there, and you pry. There's like a little C-clip that the airbag sits on. So to do that, you might have to turn the wheels till you get to where you get a screwdriver in there. You're gonna end up pushing down like that. That was fun. So these 3 tabs are what you're prying from, those holes right there. They clip over and they go behind, right? So you just take the screwdriver and you just pry it one by one and it will come out. So next you have the horn. I'm pretty sure that just slides off. The airbag, squeeze the clips and pull out. Pull that out and see how that works without it going off on my face, because, well, I'm standing out of the way, so I hope it doesn't go off. Major success. Got it out. So next you're gonna want to unplug what you can. I'm sure you can unplug that. Zip tied, so just unplug that. And then you have to get a T50, a T50 to remove that. Something's been here before, so I wonder if this has been changed once before or not. Guess we'll find out. Okay, so when I get T50 and that unplugged, we'll be on to the next step. Mine, someone was in there and galled it all up. So I had to use an impact, because it just using, which is never a good idea, but just to get it loose. I won't use the impact to tighten it. But I didn't want to strip it out, be screwed, have to drill it out. Take a picture of how it's sitting. This is how it has to go back with the angle and everything. This is very important. Just letting you guys know, take the photo. So what it looks like. So yeah, it is a new one. Someone put a new one in there. That's what I have in there. So, well, we'll change that out and we'll see what it is. If that fixes it, or maybe it's just a broken China one, because it is Dorman, same one I bought. Or maybe it is the airbag module and the truck is shit to bed. Regardless, we have it apart, let's change it. This will be, remove that normal clip, so you guys can still see. Just like that. That bolt and that bolt. So that will be That's a Torx. And that's a Torx right down there. And then this will pop off. I think it does anyway. We're learning together. As you can see, it can only go on one way. Get it bolted in, and you have to remove this pin once it's bolted in, because inside here is a big ribbon that has all your wires for your horn and your climate control and all that stuff. So get those two bolts back in. You can clip that harness back in. You can pull this lever out once it's clipped, put it back to where it was, put your steering wheel back on, otherwise your steering wheel will be out a little bit. It'll, you know, be twisted this way or that way, which I guess you can fix when you go to change your gearbox, because that's inevitable on the 6.4s too, changing the steering gearbox. You can always fix it then. But anyway, we're gonna try to do it right the first time here. If I hold it straight, does it look straight? Anyway, so once you get the nut back in or the bolt back in, you put it back. It only goes on like, it's pretty much a spline that's like this, and it looks like a big nut. So you only have it like clock it, like you're only able to clock it like this, like this, like this. It's not like splined where you can just pick a spline. I guess it'd be big splines, right? So you can only mess it up so much. You'll know as soon as you go to drive away. So reverse order. The airbag goes back in after you clip the wiring back in. Super simple. Make sure you get clicks, like this bottom one that was in the bottom, like that's clicked. You just push the airbag back on, because those little C-clips will go around these corners that I talked about. And then you put the surround back on the outside. And we'll put the rubber back in that bolt. And then I'll show you the surprise I have for this bad boy. It's going to gain about 15 horsepower. All back together. Airbag, you have to really actually hit that on, to be honest. You have to really smash it on. So it's always good to disconnect your battery when you're messing with your airbag, because you really got to hit it. Everything's back together. Now look at this stupid cover. Let's see what's underneath. Let's do a little exploration. Now these are a 1 year only interior truck. So that's why it had a cover. Look at that. Just wore right to the bone. Oh man. I'm sure that cover did a lot of this. But anywho, look at the new one. Look at that, just thin black leather. Or a pleather, I'm sure. That one's way too bulky. Let's see if we can weasel it onto this bad boy. You know why I bought it? Two things. It was on sale, and it's simple. Oh man, this will be fun. Might be easier to do in the truck. Gotta make sure we get that top set right. Problem is, it's been sitting squished for so long. This might be a two-hander, guys. We'll be back. So I forgot to get a video of it after, but here's a picture of it installed. It was not easy. Took a lot of actual heat from a heat gun, which I ended up smoking and wrecking to do this. Heated up and stretched it on using 2 screwdrivers to pry it on. It was a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, worth it. Here's the final project. Tell me what you think.